Best Adventure Bike, Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 Special. Harley-Davidson's 2018 announcement that it was going to produce an adventure motorcycle was met with a multitude of responses, ranging from excitement to disappointment and skepticism. The very idea was such an ambitious departure from Harley business as usual that all these responses were valid, and here at Cycle World, we felt every one of them. But after our first ride in 2021, our earlier feelings gave way to amazement. Since then, the Pan America 1250 Special bested BMW's R1250 GS and Ducati's Multistrada V4S in our 2021 adventure bike comparison, and our amazement matured into simple admiration. In his first year on the market, the motor company's first adventure motorcycle has outperformed the competition in both our testing and on the sales floor, becoming the best-selling adventure bike in the USA for 2021. That's not a surprise, considering its stellar 60-degree dual-overhead cam Revolution Max 1250 V-twin produces 128 horsepower and 81 pound-feet of torque, while bolted into a chassis that's comfortable and quick on the road and highly capable in the dirt. Like any big-bore adventure bike worth its salt, the Pan America 1250 Special features a full complement of electronic aids, such as ride modes, lean-sensitive traction control and ABS, and semi-active suspension. It also has one absolute game-changing card in its electronic deck, adaptive ride height, which lets the Pan America lower itself up to 2 inches when coming to a stop. This opens up the bike to adventure riders of all sizes, especially those who worry about the reach down to terra firma. Innovative but rational, spectacular but user-friendly, exactly what an adventure bike should be. Harley-Davidson's Pan America 1250 Special has not just entered motorcycling's hotly contested category, but jumped straight to the top of the field to become Cycle World's best adventure bike of 2021. That's as amazing as it is admirable. Best middleweight street bike, the Aprilia Tuono 660. It's not every day that a motorcycle manufacturer takes a legendary platform like the Tuono 1100 V4, slices it in half, and gets a result even a fraction as good as the original. But that's just what Aprilia has done with the all-new Tuono 660. Simply put, it's frickin' awesome. Aprilia has managed to embody the wicked entertainment factor and pure soul of its flagship street bike in an approachable and versatile package designed to entice all levels of riders. Yes, there are still wheelies, lots of them. Plus, around 7,000 RPM, the 659cc parallel twin engine belts out an exhaust note that's eerily similar to that of the big V4 screaming towards its red line. The twin's surprisingly aggressive performance is tamed only by its superbike-derived electronics package. Knife-edge handling and OE-fitted Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2 rubber drive home the message. The Tuono is built for two-wheeled hammering. But sheer performance only means so much in the middleweight street bike class. And the Tuono 660 is elevated to class leader by its balance of raw performance and everyday versatility. The attack-style riding position is aggressive, yet manageable for the daily commute. And when settling into a cruise, the engine will happily provide a mellow ride with less chance of run-in with the law than its big brother. Not to mention the $10,499 MSRP is $5,000 less than that of the 1100s. The Tuono 660 is an incredible machine that makes a hoot out of any route, especially, however, not only when the front wheel is pointed skyward. Best superbike, the Ducati Superleggera V4. The ties binding the Superleggera V4 to the Ducati Corsa racing department run deep. Yet the Superleggera is far beyond a production superbike or homologation special racing machine. It's a no-expense-spared attempt to reach racetrack perfection, unrestricted by racing regulations. And it's dripping in the until now unobtainium technical know-how that's made Ducati's MotoGP project so successful. The spec sheet numbers are damn impressive, but they touch only lightly on the Superleggera's potential. A claimed 234 horsepower in racing kit trim paired with a 336-pound dry weight make for a power-to-weight ratio unlike anything on the market. But this motorcycle's overall refinement and rideability are what make it so special. It's a beast on the verge of chaos, tamed only by Ducati's race spec technology. Take its biplane aerodynamic winglets and predictive Ducati Traction Control Evo 2 system, for example. Both are directly derived from the Desmos Sedici Grand Prix machines. Both add unparalleled performance, plus a degree of control over a truly beastly machine that you may have not thought possible. All of this translates into a truly remarkable riding experience that's closer to modern-day MotoGP level performance than anything else publicly available. The difference is, 500 lucky buyers have the opportunity to actually purchase this capability. So even you can own the Superleggera V4, provided you bring the $100,000. Dreamers can dream, but the Superleggera brings us closer to our Grand Prix fantasies than ever before. Best lightweight street bike, the Honda CRF 300L. Leave it to Honda to offer a dual sport bike that wins a 10 Best category with street bike in the name. The Nicest People Motor Company has always been good at making its off-road only models easily to hop on and get used to, but the CRF 300L's comfort goes beyond that, bringing that easygoing attitude to both pavement and mild dirt riding. Considering the size of its single-cylinder 286cc engine and the intended segment this bike is in, low to mid-range torque is impressive. This makes stop-and-go city riding less of a hassle, and accelerating out of corners on twisty roads is fairly easy as long as you're in the correct gear. Thankfully, the 6-speed transmission is more than willing to shift and is complemented by a nearly effortless cable clutch pull. A non-adjustable Showa 43mm inverted fork and Showa shock adjustable for spring preload, each with 10.2 inches of travel, are more than up to the task of soaking up potholes, broken asphalt, and fire road imperfections. Handling is quick yet predictable, ergonomics are agreeable, wet weight is reasonable at 309 pounds, seat height is relatively low at 34.7 inches, and the dashboard is refined and plenty informative. With a suggested retail price of $5,249, the revamped CRF 300L offers a lot of bang for your buck, especially considering its infrequent maintenance requirements and the sheer practicality. You can think of the CRF 300L as an ultra-versatile, ultra-fun commuter, but you should also think of it as an excellent motorcycle for all riders, regardless of the experience under their belts or the surface beneath their tires. Best open-class street bike? The Suzuki Hayabusa. The Suzuki Hayabusa has been around long enough that it's become easy to take its existence for granted. This wasn't always the case. At its introduction as a 1999 model, it was instantly striking. Never had a motorcycle had more gravity. Sure, at the time it looked weird, and its specs made a lot of promises, but it took exactly one record-setting quarter mile to realize that the whole motorcycle planet had changed. From that moment to this, nothing else has quite carried the same force as the Hayabusa. The new version builds on the bike's past success, if perhaps shifting it slightly toward GT territory. True, spec sheet fanatics were disappointed by the reduced peak claimed output numbers, but we're here to tell you that the 168 horsepower and 102 pound-feet of torque recorded on the Cycle World dyno remain intergalactically satisfying. Power has always been a Busa forte, but the beauty here is found in how the bike carries its powerful self. Comfortable enough for sport touring, dynamic enough for track days, none of the big road burners have truly ever toppled the king of the class in terms of overall balance. As a 2022 model that's been available for months, and with plenty of time and testing for competing for the 10 Best this year, the heavily reworked machine gets a full suite of rider aids, including of course launch control, tightened and tautened styling, and updated suspension and brakes. So the big bike's look is crisper, its stock performance is more accessible, and thanks to a pile of engine reinforcements and other changes, it can take more aftermarket horsepower mods than ever. Therefore, the Hayabusa is better for all in the street and meaner than ever under boost. It's a great privilege to take all that for granted. Best Enduro Dual Sport, the Yamaha WR450F. Following in the footsteps of Yamaha's flagship motocrosser makes for a great path, even for an enduro model like the WR450F, which typically enjoys updates similar or identical to the YZ450F the following year. But the WR450F isn't just a motocross bike with a headlight. Its wide ratio 5-speed transmission, ECU tuning, spark arrestor-equipped muffler, suspension setting, and engine mount combination are all aimed at making the bike easy to manage on the trail. Clean, smooth power delivery with quick throttle response makes the WR450F a joy to ride, especially in technical terrain. Gear ratios allow for everything from trials bike-like crawling to eye-watering speeds across the desert. While it's more controllable, The WR450F engine's maximum output isn't dramatically less than the YZ450F. It spins 48.9 horsepower and 31.8 pound-feet of torque on the CycleWorld dyno, meaning the Enduro's peak figures are only about 4.2 horsepower less and 0.9 pound-feet down from the motocrosser. Yamaha's KYB speed-sensitive system 48mm coil spring fork and KYB shock are, simply put, the best stock dirt bike suspension components. Settings are understandably soft for enduro, but plushness is outstanding, especially when hitting obstacles. Chassis comfort is high and aids the phenomenal suspension in soaking up impacts. So perhaps the WR450F is indeed a motocross bike with a headlight, at least in the sense of offering a majority of the YZ450F's performance while being capable of tackling just about any terrain you put in front of it. Best standard, the Triumph Trident 660. There's something to be said for refinement. Take the Triumph Trident 660. It may be an all-new model for 2021, but it represents decades of Triumph's technical know-how and performance distilled into a package that's as approachable for beginners as it is engaging for seasoned veterans. The heart of the Trident is a dual overhead cam 659cc inline triple, fundamentally a de-stroked version of the legendary Street Triple 675 that's been domesticated into a more versatile and amiable street bike companion. But its modest CycleWorld measured 72.1 horsepower and 42.9 pound-feet of torque don't do it justice. While the direct throttle response inspires rider confidence with its gentle delivery, the bike also flat-out rips towards redline. And if you aren't the one on the Triumph, you'll want to be the one right behind it, so you can bask in its deep exhaust note. A light clutch pull, a nimble chassis, and a relatively low 32.2-inch seat height add to the bike's user-friendliness. Triumph has decked it out with plenty of desirable modern features, including ride-by-wire technology, traction control, ABS, and a TFT display with Bluetooth smartphone connectivity. And it's beautifully finished, as you would expect from a manufacturer that's been building premium motorcycles for more than a century. Given all that, the Trident's price tag comes as a genuine surprise. Asking only $8,195 for this much motorcycle is refinement indeed. Best Cruiser, the Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic 114. High technology and outright performance do not define the best cruiser. Motorcycle sales in America have shown that for a long time. Lighter, higher revving motorcycles with deeper lean angles have helped push cruisers forward, but the core of this genre remains rooted in tradition, style, and heritage. The Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail has housed 3 generations of V-twin engine. Since 2017, it's been the Heritage Classic 114. So why is it just now, 4 years later, winning 10 Best? Because this year, Indian and BMW both tried to use their extensive resources to make a better cruiser, and neither could. The 2021 debut of BMW's R18 platform and Indian's new Chief line meant the heavyweight cruiser segment saw more competition than it had in years. Not only did the Softails beat their competition on the spec sheets, but the feel and rider connection of the Harleys are frankly unmatched. So while the Slim is an excellent example of a stripped-down cruiser, the Heritage Classic represents Harley's past and present in a truly unique fashion. Simply look at this model, and you'll see the 1986 Willie G. Davidson-designed Heritage Softail. Squint a little, and you can see a soft-bag knucklehead. While there are motorcycles in this genre that could outperform the Heritage on a technical merit, none of them better embody what a cruiser should be. Best touring bike? The Honda Goldwing Tour DCT. Honda's Goldwing is a perennial winner of the best touring bike in CycleWorld's 10 Best. Even in the years it hasn't taken top honor, it's been in the discussion, which is usually as heated, if not as cozy, as the seats and grips on the 2021 Goldwing Tour DCT model. True, arguing the best of any segment in 10 Best can get uncomfortable, but what is inarguably not uncomfortable is the Goldwing's passenger experience. To be fair, touring bikes can seem kinda goofy. All their comforts at ride angles to what many see as the raw, elemental experience of riding. But believe us, we take their casual, content-crossing capabilities very seriously. As does Honda, who focused on co-pilot comfort with the 2021 Goldwing. And that's a serious concern, as most touring motorcycles need their rear seat resident to sign off on the purchase. A more relaxed backrest angle of 24.5 degrees reduces pressure on passenger hips. The backrest is also 30 millimeters taller and 5 millimeters of foam have been added under the faux suede seat cover. With that taller backrest comes a larger top trunk, with 11 liters more storage than before, meaning it now fits up to 2 extra-large full-face helmets. Audio system power has been bumped up to 55 watts, and Android Auto is now standard. Touring capability that tops the class, handling that belies its mass, and one of the sweetest engines Honda has ever built, it's easily enough to keep the Goldwing in the running. Now with its added passenger comfort, refined sound system, and more storage, it's an easy pick. Best motocrosser, the Kawasaki KX450. Finding an ideal balance for a 450 motocross bike is no easy task. Making such a powerful engine work in harmony with the suspension and chassis is the name of the game. That's the KX450's paramount quality, and it's what makes Kawasaki's flagship motocrosser so great. Since its 2019 overhaul, the KX450 has impressed us with quick yet pleasant power delivery, plush Showa suspension setup, and a chassis that carves a corner at a moment's notice while maintaining composure at speed regardless of the terrain. Add in class-leading ergonomics thanks to slim radiator shrouds, a flat seat, and a rider triangle that fits and pleases riders of all sizes, and you have one impressive package. A new cone disc spring hydraulic clutch for 2021 makes the already effortless lever pull even smoother than before. A switch to Renthal's Fat Bar 839 bend handlebar results in an even better proportioned riding position. Taking on a motocross track's challenging terrain requires courage, determination, and a certain sense of optimism. Any of these virtues can be enhanced or diminished in proportion to a rider's confidence in their machine, especially when the machine is a 450. With the KX450, Kawasaki has a great machine that caters to the masses and AMA pro racers alike. A tip of the visor to Team Green on scoring a hat trick in this highly competitive segment of Cycle World's 10 Best.